Hey guys, finally back with another video, this time on OP06. I've been making this video every single day, and every single day there's more leaks, but today we got a bunch of secret rares and SRs, so I thought today is the day. So OP06 is called Wings of the Captain in English, although it's Japanese is like flanked by legends. It comes out 25th of November, so it'll come out soon. And as you can see, they've got Zoro Sanji. The box looks very, very nice. So just to get into it straight away, we'll go by color order like I normally do. First leader is Uta. So red purple leader, 4 life, 5000 power, film, and when attacking you may trash one film type card from your hand, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power, then add up to one Don from your Don deck as rested. So she can ramp and she can give minus 2000 power for removal. I think it's a good ability. The problem is that you have to trash one film type card. So I guess if you run guild and you manage to proc that a lot, it might be good. But obviously you want cards in your hand, so we'll see how that plays out. We have Inazuma, so more Revolutionary Army support. When this character has 7000 power or more, character gains Banish. Banish has always been kind of underlooked, but recently it's got a lot more traction because of the amount of like yellow in the meta, especially the English meta. Yellow is played a lot, so Banish is very useful. And then we've got Ivankov. On play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Play up to one revolutionary type character card with power 5000 or less, then return the remaining cards to the bottom of the deck in order, which I think is a very good ability because obviously for 5 cost you're getting both a 6k and a 5k character, and there's definitely some combos you could probably play around with here. And I think it's definitely more like Bello Betty support, but I think it is also Sabo support, because Sabo and OP05 didn't really get like the support he wished he would have got. On to green, we got Hody Jones, green leader, 5 life, 5000 power, strike. He is a fishman, and he's obviously new fishman pirates. This did make me excited because I play Arlong and I was hoping for Arlong support. So activate main, you may rest this leader, which isn't that great. I think all the abilities where like you lose your leader's ability to attack normally doesn't play out too well, but you can rest up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 3 or less, or one of their Don. Then during this turn you cannot add life cards to your hand through your own effects. It's not too bad. I think resting potentially someone's Don can be good, because if people leave one Don up for like guard point, radical beam, or even like Doflamingo with 2 Don, this could counter that. And obviously you cannot add life cards to your own hand. They've kind of integrated Hody's cannon abilities, and later on we'll see why that is as well. And then another green black leader, Perona, 4 life, 5000 power, Thriller Bark Pirates. Activate main once per turn. You can choose one of the following effects. So you can either rest the opponent's character with a cost of 4 or less, or up to one of your opponent's characters gets -1 cost during this turn, which I think is actually a very good ability. I think the ability to rest in conjunction with all the green cards that we know, like X Drake, and even some cards that are being revealed later that can like KO cost 4 or less, is very good. On top of that, obviously you can give -1 cost to anyone, so that's just good for removal. Next we have Yamato, green yellow leader, 4 life, 5000 power. Yamato has double attack, which is cracked. I think that's a reason why a lot of people have put Yamato as a top meta contender potentially. On top of that, the main ability, activate main once per turn. If your opponent has 3 or less life, attach up to 2 rested Don to one of your characters, which is also very strong. And obviously with double attack you could probably activate that main quite a lot. So yeah, very good potential, very strong leader potentially. I run Wano list for Arlong that are green yellow, so I think with the Yamato that like potential goes crazy, especially with the support that we'll be getting as well. Then we have Ikaros. He's a fisherman, new fisherman pirates, 5 cost 6,000 power. On play, if your leader's type is new fisherman pirates, play up to 1 4 cost or lower fisherman character card from your hand. Then add the top card of your life to your hand. So as you can see, like, it's meant to work only with Hody Jones, which I kind of dislike. I wish that they did do like if your leader's type is fisherman, just so it could have worked with Arlong as well. But I understand why they didn't. And obviously with Hody's effect, you wouldn't take the top card of your. Next we have Koshiro, so some sort of like the starter deck Zoro Sanji support. Green common, 3 cost, 0 power. On play, set up to one of your 4 costs, your cost 4 or lower / characters as active. Then for this turn, you may not attack your opponent's leader. It's potentially good, like you could play at the end of the turn to like protect one of your characters if you're not going to attack after. But I don't think it sees as much usage. I think especially compared to what the starter deck already offers. Maybe it could see play, but I don't really know it will. Then we have Hammond, standard 2 cost, 2,000 power blocker. Pirates. Have Hody Jones SR, so this was revealed today. 7 cost, 8,000 power. Has rush, and on play rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters and or Don. Now since cost isn't specified, you could rest any of your opponent's characters, which I think is very strong. And then put the top of your life cards into your hand. Obviously if you had Hody Jones effect, you wouldn't do that. So yeah, strong character, has potential. Ryuma, so this is obviously Wano support, but also Thriller Bark Pirate support. Rare, 4 cost, 6,000 power. On play and on KO, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less, which I think is very strong, because you're basically constantly KOing, whether on the play or on KO. Vinsmoke, Reiju, so you got blue purple leader, 4 life, 5,000 power, Germa 66 and the Vinsmoke family, and her ability is once per turn, when one of your Don cards on the field is returned to your Don deck, draw 1 card. So kind of like yellow purple crocodile, that like the effect plays when a Don card is returned. So blue cards so far have been mostly Navy support. So we've got Gion. If you guys don't know who Gion is, he showed up for 1 episode where like Garp was eating lunch and they were like, Luffy's in Wano, and Garp was like, it's too soon or whatever. She was like a contender for the Admirals, but they chose Fujitora. Hasn't done much, but yeah. So if you don't know who she is, I'm not surprised, but yeah. Gion, 2k counter, your turn once per turn. When your opponent activates an event, your opponent places 1 card from their hand at the bottom of their deck. So I think this counters Nami hard if you wanted to run it. But it's a 2k, and it's also a 2k that can be a body, which I think is good, because she's obviously a 5k power. Kuzan, 3 cost, 5,000 power. On play, draw 2 cards and place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order. So just like a slight shuffle, not bad. You might want to use it, but like I don't really see, like Sakazuki seems kind of happy with the blue-black deck that Sakazuki has. Speaking of, we have Sakazuki, 5 cost, 6,000 power. On play, place up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Once again, it's a weird ability that they've limited it to 2 cost. I guess it could be useful against like maybe like Zoro or like Lord X, but I don't really think it's overall that useful because the meta has slightly shifted towards higher cost characters. Sengoku, the standard 5 cost 7,000 power vanilla card. And we have moved on to purple. So purple so far is mostly German 66. So we've got Vinsmoke HG. So all this is very cool. So as you can see, he doesn't have his suit. And he's a 4 cost 4,000 power. His main is that don't -1, crash his character, and if your leader has a German 66 type, so obviously after play, you may play up to 1 cost 7 HG from your hand or crash. Sorry, the wording on that is a bit bad, but that is this. So basically, as you can see, this is the suited version, right? So I think it's a very cool effect. Basically, like the German siblings can crash their like normal versions to put on their suits, to say. You got 7 cost 7,000 power. On play, if you have equal or less done. This was mistranslated at the start, so it's equal or less done on your feet, not just less done. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -2,000 power for this turn, and this character gains rush, which is good because if you think of it realistically, if you played him like your second turn, you could like do that effect, get him on your second turn. On top of that, Vinsmoke Judge. So this was revealed today. Purple SR, 8 cost 8,000 power. On play, Don -1. You may trash 2 cards from your hand. Play up to 4 German 66 type character cards with 4,000 power or less from your trash with different names. So you could play Ichiji, you could play Yonji, Niji, you could play Reiju as well. So we'll see all the ones that you could play, but I think it's a very strong card because if you play this, you could basically essentially flood your board. Have like you'd have a full board if you played Judge and then played up to, that's a 5 board then. Especially like if you use their ability to like turn into the suit versions, then you'll have like high power bodies. On top of that, activate main once per turn. Best up to one of your opponent's done cards, so you know it can really nullify. Nami obviously nullify events, Flamingo, etc. So then we have Niji. Haven't got a Niji non-suited version, but I'm definitely sure we will. 5 cost 6,000 power. On play, if you have equal or less done on your field than your opponent, choose one of the following. You can KO up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 2 or less, or you can return up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 4 or less to their owner's hand. The good ability, especially like because he's 5 cost, I imagine the normal one will be like 2 or 3 costs, so you could do that quite early on and get rid of like your opponent's searches. Then we have Yonji, so you can see this is the non-suited version. 2 cost 2,000 power. Once again, activate main. You can play 4 cost 4 Vinsmoke Yonji, which is the next card. Suited version, the blocker. If you have equal or less done on your field than your opponent, this character has plus 1,000 power, and this is a permanent effect. So he would be a 6k on your turn and on your opponent's turn if you have less done, or equal done as well. So yeah, also a blocker, so 6k blocker is good. The fact that you could attack with him is also good. Then we have Reiju, so 2 cost 2,000 power. Once again, same ability. You can trash her for Don -1. Play the suited version, which is actually an SR. Definitely got some horny artists, but we will move past that. We've got 3 Reiju cards, and both the leader and this SR will have parallels, so just imagine that. 4 cost 5,000 power, and on play, if you have equal or less done, and if you have 5 or less cards in hand, draw 2 cards. which I think is very good, especially if you consider like Judge makes you trash 2 cards. So you could play Judge, then play all the non-suited versions, then suit them all up, and using like Rage's leader effect and this effect, you draw cards as well. Also, their suits can be played from, like, let's say it's hand or trash. So I just think it's very, very like a strong ability. Then we've got some field support. El Dorado, from the very first film, just a standard vanilla 5 cost 7,000 power. We have Cosette for German 66. She's the one that was like making the food and Sanji defended her. 1 cost 0 power, but if your leader has the German 66 type and your board has 2 or more Don less than your opponent, this character gains blocker. And then we have more film support, so Shiki, blocker and on play. If your board has 8 or more Don, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card from your hand. Then we have Zephyr, purple rare, 7 cost 7,000 power, film and navy type, and on play for Don -1. You can nullify all abilities from up to one of your opponent's characters this turn. Then if that character has 5,000 power or less, KO it. This basically, you can get rid of like Sabo's Sabo has that like ability where everyone is protected from KO. This would nullify that. This would counter, I think the main thing lore wise is that this counters Borsalino, like the black Borsalino that cannot be KO'd by effects. But I think it is very strong just because it can nullify all abilities. So we'll see how the ruling of that is, but otherwise very strong card, good film support for Uta. Then we have Black Leader, Gecko Maria, 5 life, 5,000 power, 7 Warlords of the Sea and Thriller Bark Pirates. So when attacking, attach 1 Don when attacking, cost 2 as well, and you have to discard 1 card from your hand. However, this is all worth it because it would put the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash, and you can play 1 Thriller Bark Pirates characters with a cost of 4 or less from the trash. So even though it does seem expensive, you get to play a cost of 4 or less from the trash of Thriller Bark Pirates, and obviously we'll see the Thriller Bark Pirates. Okay. So to start off with, you've got Absalom, black rare, 4 cost, 5,000 power. On play, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck, and you can KO up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less. So you don't have to worry about like you're trashing so much of your deck. You don't have to worry about your deck going to 0 and you losing because you can return. Then you have Inupe. So on play, if your leader has a Thriller Bark Pirates type, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, and on KO does the same. Gecko Maria, this was revealed today. I think this is a very strong card. 8 cost 9,000 power. On play, you can choose a cost 4 or less and a cost 2 or less from your trash. Does not have to be Thriller Bark Pirates, just to like point that out. You can play one of them and then play the other one rested, which is really strong. Like, think about all the black cards that you have. You could play blockers, you could play Rebecca, and like cycle through that like entire cycle. So I think it's very strong card. Cerberus, just a standard blocker. Dr. Hogback, also 4 cost, 5,000 power. On play, return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, and then put 1 Thriller Bark Pirates other than Dr. Hogback from your trash to your hand. So yeah, also good card. You've got a body on the field, you return 2 from your trash to your deck, and you've got a card in hand. And then we've got Brooke, former Rumbar Pirates. The former hurts. Hopefully we get Rumbar Pirates one day. 6 cost, 6,000 power. On play, you can choose 1. Put up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less into their trash. Now the wording of this is interesting because it does not mention KO in the Japanese. Therefore, this should bypass on KO effects, and it should also bypass like it cannot be KO'd by effects as well. So for example, like use this on Blocker Marco, the on KO effect shouldn't activate, and if you use this on things like Borsellino, technically it shouldn't, like it should be like you should be able to put Borsellino in the trash because you're not KOing. On top of that, your opponent puts three, or the other option is your opponent puts 3 cards from their trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. So in that case, you can obviously counter mirror matches and also counter Nami deck and Rebecca deck. Yeah, overall strong card, and I love the art for this. Then we have onto yellow. So more Sky Island support. This time we have the Shandorians. So we got Isa. On play, look at up to 1 card from the top of your or your opponent's life cards and place it at the top or bottom of the life card. So the 2k counter, I don't really think you'll use the on play, but you could to like potentially figure out whether they have triggers or not. Kamakiri, also Shandora Warrior. Activate main once per turn. You can place a 1-cost stage at the bottom of its owner's deck. Very strong, like you can counter Colosseum, so much other things. KO up to one of your opponent's cost 2 or lower characters. On top of that, it has a trigger if you have 2 or less life cards. Play this card. I do think it's quite a good card actually. Like Rebecca was high in fights at that stage. Then we have at Land of Wano, so Kawamatsu. When attacking, you discard 2 cards, turn up to one of your power 0 characters, top or bottom of its owner's life, face up. It has a trigger and it could be played in Arlong. I'm going to make sure that I can point out any Arlong support whenever it shows up. I think it's really good. I know you're discarding 2 cards, but just about like if you're returning, you could turn Shirahoshi and then trigger Shirahoshi, draw cards. Yeah, overall it's just, you know, standard Wano support. Next we have Okiku, a rare 4-cost 6000 power, can be played with Arlong because it has trigger. On KO, if your opponent's life is 3 or less, place the top card of your deck to the top of your life, which is good, you gain a life. And trigger, if your opponent's life is at 3 or less, play this card. So either way, strong. Next we have Gembo, the standard vanilla Sky Island Shandora Warrior. Next we have Adult Momonosuke, also revealed today. Yellow SR, 5-cost 6000 power, blocker, and on play add up to one of your Wano type characters other than Momonosuke to the top or bottom of the owner's life cards face up. So kind of like Katakuri except it's with Wano characters, but still you're gaining a character and you can also like play out a trigger that you want to. Then we have Denjiro, yellow uncommon 5-cost 6000 power. If you have 2 Don attached, this character cannot be KO'd by effects. And yeah, the trigger is just if your opponent's life is at 3 or less, play this card. There's a very good like Yamato support, which is why Yamato I think has so much potential. Now we're going to move on to the most hype reveals of today, the secret rares. Firstly, we have Zoro secret rare, green, 9-cost 9000 power, and the ability is correct. When attacking once per turn, set him as active. Activate main once per turn, set him as active. If you attach 7 Don to him, you can swing 16k, use when attacking to re-stand him, swing 16k, use his main to re-stand him, swing 16, which is ridiculous. Very strong card. Then on top of that, we have the next secret rare, our boy Sanji. So, blue secret rare, 9-cost, 9000 power, for her on play, You reveal the top card of your deck, and you can play the reveal character with a cost of 9 or less. You could, like, imagine the combo. You could do Sanji into that Zoro. You could do Sanji into Mihawk. You could do Sanji into Judge and like flood your like 3 German siblings. And then place. If you chose not to play it, then bottom of it. But still, like, such a strong card. Especially like if you think of like Perona, like the 1-cost Perona, you can like rearrange the top of your deck so you know exactly what you're gonna plunge it. Yeah, amazing card. That is all. That's 44 cards now revealed. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of this set. Let me know what you guys think the mangas might be, what you think the remaining SRs might be, and as usual, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.